Hello, 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 hello. Just finished filming my videos. Alex is over here feeding the dogs. Mmm, that looks delicious. What are you eating?
Bread.
Bread, Fred. Just finished filming my videos. We haven't done, oh, we got our washer and dryer today. We got our new washer and dryer. They came in like, do you need me to do it?
What?
The wet food.
No.
We got our new washer and dryer this morning. I should probably show it, even though I'm so embarrassed to show the basement, but I'm just gonna show it, fuck it. Oh my lord. Alex is, okay, so if you've never seen before, this is like where we keep the dogs. Okay, but we keep a comforter over it, and then they have like all kinds of bedding and stuff in there. So that's their house that they go into. So it's like in this like cranny in our basement. Can't believe I'm about to show you guys this. I've never shown the basement before. It's so bad. So it's unfinished basement. Are you ready? So here is our new washer and dryer. He's actually drying things right now and washing things, so. Ooh. See, you can fit a king comforter in there and everything. So we're very excited. And here he was telling me that this is like, if you want to steam stuff. Now I can't do it. Well, I guess if I need to do it, he'll show me how to do it. But anyway, and then there's the dryer. Stuff is going. Oh, look, there's a picture of my mom back in the day in her front row. There's my mom. At the end when she got sick, she got real bloated. Do you see? You can see how bloated she is. And she got real heavy. This is 05, so that wouldn't have been. God, she looks heavy there. Anyway, that's not how she looked at the end. So yeah, this is the basement. Oh my lord, let's get out of here. This is too scary. Boo Radley! Oh my gosh, is Daddy bringing you your food, Boo Radley? So, that's our new washer and dryer. So exciting. Tucker! Tucker! There's our pooper scooper because our neighbors have complained about the poop in the yard. Tucker, go eat your dinner, honey. Go eat your dinner. Go. Go in the bathroom and eat your dinner. Look, he doesn't want to eat. Go on, honey. They get so nervous about dinner time. Peepee, is your dinner so good, peeps? Oh, he's actually eating it tonight. Good boy. So, I'm getting ready to go shower, and then Tanya and I are going to a 12-step convention tonight. Can you throw this away for me? Thanks. We're going to a 12-step convention tonight. And, yeah, I'm excited about that. We're going to hear somebody's story. And I'm waiting for my videos to upload, and I'm getting ready to... We watched Bring It On the other night. And I'm getting ready to go take a shower. And Alex has preferably asked not to be in the vlog today. So that's why he's over there. What are you washing that? What are you washing? Anyway. Oh, I need to do this too. So I go through and I take all my receipts out of my wallet. So I keep them. I'm going to go in there and I balance my checkbook. That way I know exactly to the penny how much money I have. So anyway, I'm going to go do that, and then shake it. And then I'm going to go get ready. So I will see you guys later. Tanya will probably be in the vlog. I'm sure in a little bit I'm going to force her to. I love you guys. Bye. Hello.
Hey.
She said don't show my face, and then she said she could show her face. Show your jacket, how cute your jacket is. Do you see it? All floweries.
Puppies.
We just got done with our 12-step convention. We went and heard a story. She's like checking herself out in the camera.
It's been a while since I've been on.
We've been telling all kinds of funny stories. So if you guys are new to my vlog, you don't know who this is my best Judy, Tanya. Peace! Here, let's do it together, and then I can like use it as a thumbnail. And it's raining horribly outside. So we went out to dinner, we told a bunch of funny stories. It was fun.
Because we're funny.
Because we're not a glum lot.
No, we're not a glum lot. This is a little late for me. Peter's just getting his night started.
Yeah, it's like 1. We got there. Okay, so Tanya and I were rushing the whole time. We were gonna be so late, and I was like, we were hitting all these red lights and stuff, and we finally get there, and I'm like, damn it, we're gonna miss the sobriety countdown, and we literally walked in. Did we not walk in like right at this? So it's really cool. Oh, I started crying almost. There was a woman that had 4 days sober. And then there was a guy that had 42 years. 42. So he gave a book to the woman that had 4 years. And I just like...
4 days.
4 days, yeah.
It's awesome.
She could hardly walk, and she had to have somebody walk her up there. I started getting so emotional, Tanya. I was like...
I'm glad we didn't sit like right beside each other.
Oh, I know. We would have
I thought I heard you cry for a little bit.
I did. I started tearing up, and I saw Tanya go like this. I was like... You know, it's just... I don't know.
It's a blessing.
It's a blessing, the whole thing, you know, that... The woman that shared, she kept on talking about what a gift recovery was. I love that she did that tonight.
And you give it away, right?
And you give it away, yeah. She was like, she was so funny when she was like, no, see, she goes, that shit didn't mean nothing to me when I first, she got sober really young. She got sober at 14. She's like, I didn't give nothing away. If I had $2, see, I still got $2, she said.
I'll take it.
I'll take it. It was fun. It's so cool to see 400 sober people in a room together, don't you think? Like, you see truly like the power of sobriety. I don't know. We stood up. They said anybody from 20 to 29 years, and we...
A long time.
And then they go 10 days, 9 days, 8 days, 7 days. Sometimes, though, at those things, I love when there's like somebody that has 12 hours.
Yeah, like
that is so cool.
And you're like, man, how'd you even get here?
I know, right? They got a sponsor that beats their ass and go, you're going to this convention. I just got you this sponsor last night.
And you're going to eat that buffet food by
you're going. You're going to, yeah, have a lot of coffee. They had an 80s prom, too.
Yeah.
And we walked in, they were playing Whitney Houston.
And the roof was leaking.
And the roof was leaking.
We moving on.
The roof is on fire. We don't need no motherfucker. Let the motherfucker burn.
Burn, motherfucker. Burn. Oh, gosh. That's
it's 80s. Leaking by the kennel.
It's horrible. Watch out for the coyotes.
And then Tony's like, you're the only one that can spot coyotes.
Yeah, you always see a coyote.
Oh, there it is.
There's the kennel.
There's the kennel.
See you at 9 o'clock tomorrow.
I hope your husband went over there and let the dogs out.
Somebody let a light on.
Who let the dogs out? Who? We're so corny.
Aw,
we went to this place tonight called BJ's Brew House to eat dinner.
Name.
It was a good menu, though.
Yeah, they had good food. What did I have? A quinoa bowl?
She goes, don't make me say it. You know, I can't say quinoa or...
Quino. Isn't it quino?
I don't know.
He was real sweet. He's like, yeah, I pronounce it weird, too.
And I got a grilled cheese.
And fries.
And fries.
With a bowl of ranch. And a Dr. Pepper. Those fries were good.
Don't be telling on my food. I might just want to say I had a side salad.
You had a side salad and a
piece of fish. No, I don't eat fish. They know that. Can't stand no fish.
There ain't no fish coming out near this mouth.
Oh, I can't figure out if it's hot or cold in here. It's like turn the heat up, it's hot, and then it's cold.
Oh.
You gonna go watch your shows now?
Probably. I don't know what I got. Probably 2020 or something. I'm watching
Dr. Phil.
New show called Here and Now.
Absolutely.
You know who it has? It has,
It's on HBO. I just saw the ads for it the other day.
It has Tim Robbins and that girl that we love. That was Holly Hunter.
Is she in it? Is she good?
She's so good.
She doesn't talk like that. I love her. She was saving grace. All right, say goodbye to everybody.
I get on here and then he rushes me off.
Well, you're almost home. Do you want me to drive around for a while?
No, I'm good.
No, we're going to drive around for a while.
No, I need to go home. I gotta work
say
tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Hello. So I dropped Tanya off. And then Alex called me and he said that he was dropping his friend off. They had gone to this birthday party and then he was going home to be with the puppies. So I'll let him go home and deal with the pups for once tonight. And he's been doing laundry all day. He's been like washing like all of our bedding, all the dog stuff. I think I already talked about that. So anyway, we had a good time tonight. You know, I'm such a creature of habit that I get like caught up in doing things, and so like when people ask me to do things that like I don't normally do, I get like real nervous about it. That's a lot of my social anxiety. And Tanya really wanted me to go to this thing before tonight, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. And we went and met my sponsor there, and we had a really good time. So I should actually talk about this on here. I've been kind of apprehensive to talk about this on here because this is my stuff with 12-step programs, but I'm just going to talk about it because it's my truth and it's working out really, really well for me. So, I have had in my life for now 5 sponsors, and I've had amazing sponsors in my life. I've been very blessed. But so if you don't know about 12-step programs, a sponsor is somebody that works you through the steps. They call you on your stuff. If you're going through something, they call you. And to be honest with you, at 23 years sober, I want a sponsor that I have like an emotional connection with, that we can also be friends, that, you know, that I call, because really today, my recovery is about emotional sobriety, you know? Staying sober emotionally and spiritually and all that kind of stuff. And the truth is that I have never really had I've had a lot of great relationships with my sponsors, but I've never really had a truly emotional bond with them. And part of the problem is that when I got sober, it was suggested that in sobriety, so men don't sponsor men and women don't sponsor women. I mean, men don't sponsor women and women don't sponsor men, okay? You sponsor the same sex. And it's also recommended that gay men don't sponsor gay men and women don't sponsor gay women, okay? Because of the attraction thing and whatever. A lot of times it's recommended. But, you know, there's a lot of people that just go to gay meetings and they have sponsors, and I think it's a very personal issue. I don't pass judgment on anybody that does that. And I know a lot of gay men that have gay male sponsors, and it's worked out great for them. And I have sponsored a couple gay guys, and it's worked out really well. So it's not like, you know, that's an issue. But for me, I've always been very rigid of the suggestions of sobriety. And so, you know, I followed that very, very closely. But I've had to stand by while all of my friends, you know, like, my straight guy friends will have, you know, sponsors, and they like go on golfing trips together and fishing trips, and their families know each other, and they're just very connected. And Tanya and her sponsor, you know, are very connected. And, you know, all of my friends in sobriety are very connected to their sponsors, and I just never had that. And I was doing some inventory about 6 months ago, and I was like, I don't really know what the disconnect is, you know, like, none of my sponsors have ever, so I've always had straight male sponsors. None of my sponsors have ever had any issues with me being gay, and I've never had any issues with them being straight. But I think that the bonding is in a disconnect somewhere, if that makes sense to me. If it makes sense to you. So, in the pamphlet, there are like brochures, like sobriety brochures on sponsorship. It says that if you're a gay male, it is appropriate for a woman to sponsor you, and if you're a lesbian, it's appropriate for a man to sponsor you. So I brought this up to my counselor, and I said, this really goes against everything that I've ever been taught or believed in, but how would you feel about me having a female sponsor, you know? I've always related more to women. Most of my friends in my life have been women, and, you know, it is what it is. But I feel like this goes against the suggestions, and my counselor is very involved and knows a lot about, about 12-step stuff. And he said, I think at 23 years sober, what works for you, and you need to do what is best for you. And so I was like, okay. And he was like, have you prayed on it? And I was like, yeah, I've talked to a lot of people about it. And so there's a woman that I've known kind of from a distance for a while, and she has about the same amount of sobriety that I do. And she works an amazing program, and she's very focused on inventory, everything, you know, constantly inventorying this, inventorying that. And, you know, she walks the walk, and she's very involved, and, you know, she always is chairing this committee and doing this service position. And so Tanya knew that I had kind of thought about her possibly sponsoring me. And so I, for my birthday this year, Tanya called her and said, hey, Peter loves you. It would really mean a lot if you showed up for his birthday when I got, you know, the night of my birthday meeting. And so she showed up and surprised me, and I just was like so excited, you know. And so that night I was like, hey, you know, like I texted her and I said I would love to have dinner sometime, like, you know, yada yada whatever. And she was like, yeah, that would be great. And so she was like, call me and let me know what your schedule is. And so that week I called her and I said, I really would like to do some inventory on some stuff in my life. Like you know, there's stuff that from 10 years ago, my mom's death and things like that, that I would really like to sit down and just inventory. What do you think about that? And she said, you know, I think that's great. Let's like sit down and get to talk about it. And so anyway, she ended up calling me. She's like, I'm not going to sit and continue to text you. She's like, I thought it'd just be easier if I talked to you. She's real funny. And she said, so what's going on? Just like, she's like, cut the shit, what's going on? And I said, well, I said, Jill, listen, I said, I need a new sponsor. I said, I just don't feel real connected to my sponsor right now. I said, he's a great guy, but I just don't feel like I'm getting what I need. I don't feel like, you know, and I'm not into sponsor bashing at all, but I just didn't feel connected to him, you know? He's a great guy. I just didn't feel connected to him. And she's like, well, what are the things that you're looking for in a sponsor? And I said, you know, this, and this. And I said, I really want to do some inventory. And she goes, well, I can do inventory with you. You know, I don't have to sponsor you for that. And I said, well, if I was to ask you to sponsor me, would you sponsor me? And she said, I wouldn't sponsor you if you were straight, but since you're gay, and it says, and I also wouldn't sponsor you if you were gay and had less than 5 years. She said, because I really think that you need to be with a man, but the fact that you've got, you know, long-term sobriety and other people in the program, that you have other men that you can go to about issues that are, you know, predominantly about men. She said, you know, I feel comfortable that I would do that, but I would have to talk to my sponsor first. I would have to pray on it, see how I feel about it. And I said, okay. So we met for dinner that following week, and when I tell you that I had a spiritual awakening at a dinner sitting across from somebody, that somebody was supposed to be in my life, like I can't explain it to you like any greater than that, but I was talking to her about some stuff, you know, that had happened with my old workplace, and some resentments I had, about hurt feelings about when I left that place. And she said, she had a pad of paper with her, and she said, here, we're going to inventory this right now. I said, oh, no, we're not. And she goes, did you just tell me no? And I said, well, I don't really want to do it right now. She goes, it's exactly the right time to do it. And so we inventoried some of and I walked out of that dinner, and I felt this huge weight lifted off my shoulders, you know. And she said, now that we've talked and you know me a little bit better and I know you a little bit better, she said, are you still interested in me sponsoring you? And I said, yeah. She said, I would be honored. She said, you know, I think that we can really do some work together. And she's amazing. She's absolutely amazing. And in the month and a half that she's been my sponsor, she's changed my life, you know. And I feel like she's such an angel. And after 23 years, I feel like I finally have that relationship with a sponsor that I always wanted, you know? I feel like I have that unconditional love. She's so compassionate, you know? She'll tell me what I need to hear, but she says it in such a loving way. And she'll say things like, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear, Peter. She'll say, I'll tell you what you need to hear, because you deserve to have the best life. And she's just awesome, you know. And because of this built-in idea that I had in my head of how I was supposed to do things, you know, and I was so worried about what other people would say, you know, oh, Peter has a female sponsor, Peter has a female sponsor, and I was just like, you know what? This is what's best for me. So she and Tanya and I went out to dinner tonight, and we had such a great time. And, you know, I went to this convention, and she's so humble. I didn't even know that she had been one of the people that was putting this together, you know? And I said, you didn't even tell me. And she was like, yeah, she's like, I don't usually tell people about my service work. It's just something that I do, you know? And I said, yeah, I'm not real great at that. And she goes, well, get ready, because I'm going to start volunteering you for shit. I said, oh, good. And she goes, no, she's like, you need to do this. This will be good for you. She's like, plus it'll be a really great way for you to meet new people. And, you know, those scary risks that we take sometimes are just so phenomenal, you know, like... She's like, tonight, she's like, I can't wait to meet Alex. She's like, I really want to meet Alex. She's like, I'd like to have you guys over for dinner. And I was like, okay. And she's like, no, seriously, like, pick a night and we can either go out to dinner or you can come over to my house. And then she was like, I was thinking that you could come over one day and we could just do a whole day of inventory and just get all the baggage out from the last couple years. And I said, I think that would be great. And, you know, she's like the first sponsor I've had since my first sponsor that I had that died of an overdose. She's the first one that's taken an interest in me like that, you know, and it feels special to have somebody validate me on that level. So, but anyway, that's the thing, like, I didn't want to share because I know that, like, for a lot of people, they, you know, if you're in a program, that's sometimes frowned upon to have, like, opposite sex sponsors, even though it is 12-step approved. So for me, it's working and it's amazing. And I finally have this relationship, you know, with another human being in recovery. Other than Tanya, and here's the thing, you know, it's like, Tanya in many ways has kind of served as my sounding board or my sponsor, you know, for the last 21 years. And that's just not really fair to do that to a best friend, you know, like, because a lot of things Tanya won't take a stance on. She just won't, you know. It's like, and she'll even say to me, I'm your best friend, I'm not your sponsor, I'm not going to tell you what to do in that situation. Like, you know, I'll sit here and I'll listen to you, but I'm just, I can't get emotionally involved because I care about you too much, I love you too much, that I'm not willing to tell you what I think is best for you, because it might be my own selfish needs, if that makes sense, whether it's, you know, job advice or a lot of family advice, or, you know, relationship advice, or even if it's just career advice, you know. So, this really interesting thing has happened that in, you know, the last month and a half, like, my relationship with Tanya has just been so fun. We've done so many fun things that we hadn't done in, like, a long time, you know, and she knows Jill and she loves Jill. So it was fun tonight. We, like, went out to dinner, the three of us, afterwards, and you know, swapped stories. It just was fun. It just was, like, so relaxing and so, like, honest to God, what I've been looking for the last 20 years of sobriety. I was like, oh my God, like, you know, little did I know how easy this could be. You know what I mean? It's like right here. So, one of those lessons is if your gut tells you that something is a healthy risk for you, take it. I mean, you know, and this is what it came down to for me. If the worst case scenario was that she and I started working together and I realized that maybe that wasn't the best choice for me, I could always go back and get a male sponsor, and I can still go back and get a male sponsor if something changes, which I don't think it will. But, you know, what's the worst case scenario in me, you know, having a sponsor that I think emotionally gets me a little bit more? And, so yeah. I wish I would get to the point in my life where I didn't care what other people thought, you know? like, no matter what it's about, I feel like I care so much sometimes what people think, or, you know, it was interesting because this, like, in this story tonight, this woman was sharing her story. She said something about, you know, I make up shit and then I believe it, and then I base my truth off of this made up shit that I believe. And she's like, I can walk into a room and see two people talking, and I can go, oh yeah, you think, you know, I'm cute, you're talking about me because you're jealous. And she's like, they're probably not even talking about me at all, and all of a sudden I've got resentments against these two people for talking shit about me. And I was like, damn, aha moment. You know, I script shit in my head that doesn't even exist, and then I base my truth on that, you know, like, what? Like, that's crazy that I do that, you know? And I think the person in my life that's most affected by that probably is Alex. You know what I mean? Like, it was so funny today because after they delivered the washer and dryer, Alex, like, stayed up until, like, noon, and he just came back to bed for, like, 3 hours, because, like, I went back to sleep. Like, man, I was up, and then I couldn't go back to sleep right away, and so I was up till, like, 10 or 11, and then I went back to something, like, I can't remember what time it was, but anyway, I went back to sleep and got up at, like, 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And he was still asleep when I got up, because I was like, I'm going to make my videos, I'm going to go get coffee. He was like, okay. And I said, I'm going to this convention with Tanya. And so, but he, like, stayed up, and he, like, mopped all of our floors, you know, and he, like, did all of this wash. And I was like, this is so nice, like, to, you know, for him to, like, stay home and do all this kind of stuff for one day. And he did a really nice job with everything. I love my husband. He is so fucking amazing. It was funny because these guys came this morning, and Alex was like, I had said to him last night, I said, I think I'm going to kind of let you take the lead with this whole thing. He goes, okay. So we got up this morning, and, like, they called my phone, and it was like 7:10 or something, and the guy's like, we're running early because we have to get back in time for inventory. Is that going to be okay with you? And I was like, yeah, whatever. So they got there at like 7:30. So I went out and I took the dogs out, and then, like, I came back upstairs, and Alex was getting up, and I said, we got to move our cars so that they can come in through the garage. And he was like, okay. So we moved our cars, and then they showed up, and I went over and I was talking to the guys, and I showed them the basement. And so Alex, like, we're sitting up there while they're, like, taking the stuff up and down, and he goes, I thought you wanted me to kind of take the charge of the lead of all of this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, I said that, right? And he goes, you just can't let somebody else be in control. I was like, no, you take over, do the rest of it. So he did the rest of it. But it's kind of true sometimes. I'm just like, you know? And so, like, when he wanted to clean all that stuff, I was like, just let him clean it, you know? Like, let him enjoy it and clean it. He was kind of having fun, I think, doing all that stuff, so. He's so funny, though. I'm like, are you so excited that we have a washer and dryer now? And he was like, I mean, it's nicer than having to go to the laundromat, but it's not like I'm so excited about it. He was like, are you really that excited about it? I said, oh my God, yeah. I said, I'm gonna be doing wash every day. I said, I can now start wearing fun clothes every day. He goes, you could have worn fun clothes every day. He goes, you have a closet that's so huge, you don't wear half the shit in there. I'm like, yeah, because the laundry is not my issue. The issue is my diet. Oh. You know, after listening to a woman speak for an hour and 15 minutes about how she, for the majority of her life, thought she was a bag of shit and she drank over it, I'm not a real big believer in putting herself down. We are what we are, and then we do the best that we can in life, you know, and there's no reason to chide ourselves or beat ourselves up or, you know. At the end of the day, we're just having a human experience, you know, trying to do the best that we can and get by. It's interesting when you hear, like, you know, like when you've been sober as long as I have, or you don't even have to be about sobriety, it could be about watching movies or just hearing people's stories on talk shows or whatever, you know, and what you realize after a while is that the stories are different, but the human feelings and emotions are very much the same, you know, of fear and anger, resentment, you know, joy, humility. That no matter what the experiences are, those feelings, those emotions are the same across the board. And your circumstances can be completely different than my circumstances, but the way that we can understand each other is through the commonality of our emotions. And I think that one similarity a lot of times with people in 12-step programs is like, no matter where we started in sobriety, we all have that little kid in us that didn't really think very highly of ourselves at some point, you know, and it's about taking care of that child within. So, you know, to coin the phrase from the book, the child within, but I think it's true. I think that, you know, a lot of times we have to protect and take care of that child, you know, that grew up into this adult that we are today that still has that emotional response. And it's like, you know, for me, going through what I went through growing up with an alcoholic mother and being bullied at school and not really feeling like I had a safe place unless I was with my dad, or, you know, late at night with my mom on the nights that she wasn't drinking, you know, I felt very safe. I did, honestly. But I withdrew in, you know, like, I got lost in myself and in books and in stories and in imagination. Whereas I think other people become fighters. They fight against, you know, they become angry and vigilant, and they'll fight anything in their way because they're so angry. And, you know, anger is really a secondary emotion that's just covering up pain and hurt feelings. But if we can't really get to the core of that hurt and pain, then what we are is just angry people that don't know what to do with our anger, you know? I think it's scary. I think a lot of us don't know what to do with that hurt and anger. It's like, especially when you've had it for a lot of your life, it's kind of like a needle on a record after a while. You know, you get stuck at this place. It's like, I don't want to feel angry anymore. I don't want to be sad anymore, but I don't know what to do to get past it, you know, and it's just really, really scary. And, I think so many people get stuck there and just don't know what to do to turn it around. And I've met so many people in my life that, you know, like they'll say, like, I don't know what to do about this situation, and I'll say, have you ever thought about doing this, or have you ever thought about this way? And they'll go, yes, but. And I'll say, okay, but blah, 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 blah. No, yes, but, yes, but, yes, but. They always have an excuse. And at the end of the day, I'm like, well, do you really want to feel any better? Like, because the reality is that we're not going to change unless we've felt a certain amount of pain, and we don't want to feel that pain anymore. So maybe it's either that you haven't felt enough pain, or the pain is doing something for you. You're using it as an excuse for pity or whatever. And there's been a lot of times in my life when I've just kind of wanted to stay in the pain. You know, it was easier to stay in the pain than it was to fix it and do anything about it. It was easier to stay in the pain than to acknowledge that I just didn't want to do the internal work to fix those things. And, you know, I knew 3 years before I left the organization that I worked at that my time was done there. I was done, you know? I should have walked out. I should have, not walked out. Don't ever do that. Have another job. But, you know, I should have started planning my end long before that. I never would have walked out with the resentments that I had. you know, if I'm going to take ownership over the situation that happened so that I feel like I have a little bit of control and I can fix those things, then I have to realize my part in that is that I way overstayed my welcome. You know, I was unhappy 3 years before I left, and yet I stayed there. In my past relationship, I knew 2 years, 3 years into it, it was bad. I stayed another 3.5, 4 years, you know? Whose responsibility is that? It's mine. And a lot of times the leaving or the changing doesn't happen overnight. You know, a lot of times it is the planning of the getting out is something that can take a long time. So we have to, you know, first of all, we have to acknowledge that we want to change things in our life. Then we have to have, you know, the desire to do it. And then we have to come up with, you know, a realistic plan for how we're going to do it, no matter what the situation is. Whether it's removing toxic people from our lives, leaving a job, leaving a relationship, moving to, whether it's something moving towards something positive, you know, going, whatever it is, taking a positive risk. It doesn't have to be all negative. It can be positive too, you know. But at the same time, the number one piece is always awareness, you know, that when we become aware of that change needing to occur, what we want that our life to look like is when things will start changing for us. And, you know, I used to be such a complainer in my life. Oh, this isn't going my way, or that's not going my way, or, you know, if you had my life, you know, you complain too, and you have no idea how bad it is for me. And what I realize is there are so many people out there, millions of people out there, are there hundreds of millions of people on earth? I don't know. But there are, you know, millions and millions and millions of people out there that have it so much worse than I do. And when you put it in that, you know, context, it's like, okay, Peter, do you really have anything to complain about? No, you should be really grateful for the life that you've been given. And then you start seeing life from a different point of view. You start seeing it from a point of view of gratitude, you know, and a point of joy. And then it's like, my life is pretty full. How full can I make it? You know, what else can I have in my life? What don't I have that I want? And that's where you start really chasing dreams and stuff too, you know? My low fuel light went on. Remember that whole concept back in the day of like, I'm thinking of this because of the fuel tank, but like my love tank is empty, you know, when like people would say that in relationships, like you need to fill my love tank. No, you need to fill your own love tank is what you do, or you need to fill the other person's love tank and be responsible for what you're doing for them, and they need to be responsible for them filling their love tank for you. But like in life, are you filling your own life tank? Like, are you filling yourself up and, you know, giving yourself everything that you need in the life, or are you in life, or are you, you know, not going full throttle with that stuff? Life is short. What is it you want out of life? Are you aiming towards the stars, or are you just okay and lazy and complacent? And, you know, the honest to God's truth is that there's been many times in my life that I've just been lazy and complacent because I didn't want to do the work to have a better life. And it's hard some days, you know, get up every day and be like, okay, work harder, work harder, work harder, work towards this goal, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, that's not always easy for any of us out there, but then I look at the people that don't have the option, you know? It's like, well, they have to work three jobs. There may be a point in my life where I have to work 3 jobs, you know, so I can't take for granted the day that today I have the day to fill my life with creative ventures, and I should not take that for granted, and therefore I should put the work into the creativity, the things that I want to do that are creative, you know? And I think that's the way that we have to look at it. You know, there may be a point in my life where I don't have my family around to spend time with them, so I'm going to spend time with them when I can, you know? Or, like, that's why tonight, like when Tanya wanted me to go to this thing, I thought, you know what, I never go do these things with Tanya. I'm going to go, you know? And I ended up having a total blast, and I'm so glad that I went. I'm so glad that I, you know, took a risk. I don't have the same social anxiety as I used to have with that stuff. Oh my God, it's about to stop. We're about at 30 minutes, but I don't have the same social anxiety I do. You know, I like walked right in there. I was like, hey, how's everybody doing? You know? And this has been good for me. YouTube has been great for that. It's really helped me a lot. Okay, this is going to shut off. I'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, so I don't even know what I was saying because I turned the camera off and I let it be off for like a couple of minutes. But, I don't know. I just think that we all deserve to have the most amazing life ever, you know? whatever those obstacles are that are standing in our way, to challenge ourselves to work on them, you know? And be honest enough with at least ourselves to say, like, I really want to, you know, work on this. And whether that's just going to the library or the bookstore and getting a book about that topic and reading about it to help ourselves get through it, or asking somebody for help, or seeking counseling, or seeking a 12-step program, or talking to a friend, or whatever it is, you know? Allowing ourselves to be vulnerable enough in our pain to get better. So, I don't even know if that's what I was talking when I got off. Tomorrow, we are going to go have brunch. I've been working on the merch, and I was going to have it up tomorrow, but then I thought, you know what, like, I want to have it done exactly the way that I want it to do. I'm going to take a couple more days, and March 1st is going to be the day that I'll have it up. So, March 1st, the merch will be up. If you are watching this on, well, Sunday, if you're watching this on Sunday, come join tonight. I'm going to do a long live stream on my UNAS stream. It's linked below. And if you go to it and fan it, the notification will come up when I go on live. But I usually announce it on Twitter, too. So just come in and hang out. We talk, and I flip fans and sing songs and tell stories, and it's fun. I love doing live streams because it's like a way for me to connect with, like, other people, and in a way that I get to talk to you guys, like, you know, I mean, there's not like a leave a comment, then I respond to it, or leave a comment and I talk about it in a video. It's like immediate, you know, like somebody says, oh, what's your favorite movie? And I say To Kill a Mockingbird, you know, it's like that quick. It's fun. So, yeah, I love doing that. And, we're going to brunch tomorrow, because Alex asked me to go to brunch tomorrow. So we're going to do that. And I think that's about it. Sundays are always, like, super relaxing for us, which is nice. I love my Sundays. Sundays are kind of my favorite day of the week. It's really weird. Okay, this is going to sound so strange when I tell you guys this, but this is when Sundays became my favorite day of the week. So after my ex and I broke up, I was going to the library a lot, and I was renting, not renting, but I was getting movies, like DVDs or VHS movies, I think VCR movies back then probably, from the library, and they had all of the Ramona Quimby movies, because it was like a series on, like, not BBC, it was like a series on, like, PBS or something. Do you guys know the Beverly Cleary Ramona series? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like Beezus and Ramona and all those. Well, they had, like, they made a series out of all the stories. And so I would always, like, on a Sunday, I would just watch them back to back. I would watch, like, 8 of them back to back. And I found myself, like, getting more and more of them, you know, like, and especially as my mom got sick, and, like, wouldn't see her for Sunday dinner, and, you know, I didn't have any family, you know, and my ex was out of my life. I really didn't have anybody but Tanya at the time. And so, really, you know, I didn't see my dad and my stepmom a lot. Really, my only family was Ramona and her family, which is so strange to think that. I just was thinking about this the other day, because I kind of was like, oh, I want to get those again. And, by the way, last night when I got home, I looked up the Living Dolls and the Baby Beauty pageants, and I sat there and just, like, watched both of them back to back. Well, one I watched last night, and they're, like, in 10-minute segments. That was Living Dolls. The other one I watched this morning when we were having, like, the guys come out there and do our washer and dryer. But I remembered, like, I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, about how I would watch those Ramona Quimby movies. They're like a half an hour each, and I loved them. And I just remember, like, Ramona and Beezus, her sister, and their mom and dad, and it was so homey for me. And I can remember I used to make chili a lot with cornbread. I would get that Jiffy cornbread or the Jiffy, like, blueberry muffins, and I would make those, and then I would make, like, just a really, like, easy pot of chili. And then I would, like, for some reason I always had chili when I watched. But this would have been, like, January, February of 2008. And, so yeah, I don't know what, I just remember thinking about that, and like, for some reason that was what my Sundays were, and I never used to work on Mondays. I worked Tuesday through Saturday, so Mondays were my day off, and so when my ex and I broke up, well, that December and January, which is right when my mom got sick, I had nothing to do on Mondays, because he and I used to always do stuff together on Mondays, because he was off on Mondays too, and so I had nothing to do on Mondays. And I remember Sundays were a night that I would just stay up late and watch movies, and, you know, or I would, one of the things that he and I kind of got into, this was before Netflix, was that we would buy an entire series, like at Best Buy, like America's Next Top Model. We did like the series, the seasons of Lost. And so after we broke up, I started doing that, and I would like go to Best Buy and I would buy like The Simple Life, or, you know, Anna Nicole Smith show. I mean, I had already watched them, but then like I would get them and I would watch them, you know, back to back all day on like a Sunday night. So Sundays just became like this incredibly like homey night for me. And I would take naps and, you know, walk the dog and all that kind of stuff. And to this day, I still love Sundays, because I don't really ever have to work on Mondays, rarely. Every once in a blue moon I do. But I think this Monday I have a hair appointment. And that's it. So it's nice, because I just don't ever really like, you know, schedule meetings on Mondays. And people don't usually want to do it anyway, because Monday's like their day back. And so to like do, like, I'm more of like the end of the week they like to do me and fit me in. So that's fine for their project stuff. But it's nice, you know, so then I always get to enjoy Sundays. And I think it's really, you know, whereas for everybody else, they're going back to work on Monday morning. For me, it's like, well, I don't have to do anything tomorrow morning, so I kind of like it, you know. And it's just such a lazy, homey day for Alex. It's usually a big reading day for me. You know, Alex and I will go to brunch, and then he comes home and wants to go right back to bed. So he'll take a nap in the afternoon, and then I usually go to like half-price books and Barnes & Noble, and I look around, and then I come home, and then I read for a while, make my videos, and then I'll take a nap, and, you know. Still have all those series, Anna Nicole. Anyway. Life is funny, isn't it? Like how it changes through the years. How your constant changes and is never really constant. And how uncomfortable it is when your constant changes, because we hate change. Like, I hate change. I don't know, maybe some of you out there love change. Change is so uncomfortable to me, but like over time what I've learned is to embrace change. Like, I don't like go out there intentionally and change things, but like, because I just don't love it. But when change comes my way now, I've learned to embrace it and allow it to happen, and I don't resist it, because I've learned that change is good for me. But change is hard. Like, I am such a creature of comfort that I do not like change at all. But you know, when I look back on my life and I think about different periods of my life, it's like I'm the person that, like, if I get something like Subway, if I think like, oh, Subway sounds good, then I'll eat Subway every day for the next 2 weeks, you know? Tanya always laughs at me. She's like, you are so the person that, like, you start, like, eating one thing, and then you eat it, you eat it, you eat it, you eat it, and you eat it until you just can't have enough of it, and then you don't want it anymore at all, which is so true. That's totally who I am. But I'm kind of like that with a lot of things in life, you know? It's like when Alex and I got a new mattress, it was so interesting, because I actually was thinking about this earlier today, because we got that Helix mattress. I don't know if you guys watch my main channel, but we did an unboxing on it, and it was so, it is the, I mean, and listen, y'all can use the discount code. I don't get any affiliate link, anything off of it. If you go back and watch that, you can still get a discount on it. It is hands down the most comfortable mattress I have ever had in my entire life. Period. End of story. Period. On any hotel bed, anywhere. It is so comfortable. It's one of those foam mattresses. And you go in there and you design it yourself, like what, like, you know, consistency you want, of firmness and softness and all that kind of stuff. I was so resistant to getting that mattress, and Alex was like, we need a new mattress. The mattress that we were sleeping on, I mean, I talked about it on here. You guys, was so old. Like, it was like when my parents were married old. Embarrassingly old, okay? I mean, So embarrassing. I can't believe the bed didn't have bed bugs. If it wasn't for my mother being so insanely clean about things, you know? But like, I don't know. People back in the day just kept beds forever. And now, like, I lay on that bed and I'm like, oh my God, it's so comfortable. Why did we not get a new mattress sooner? You know, like, we should have just got a new mattress like 10 years ago. It's the same thing with like the washer and the dryer. I just become lazy with not wanting change, and so I just, you know, and then today they're literally in and out in 10 minutes, and I'm like, why didn't we do this 2 years ago? This is stupid. So y'all remind me of that. The next thing that I need to do that I don't want to do, be like, just do it now and get it over with. So much easier that way. Oh my God, gas here is cheap. $2.25, and I need to fill my tank, so I am lucky dog. All right, you guys, well, listen, I'm gonna get off here. I don't know what time. I think maybe I've talked for 30 or 40 minutes. Well, at least 30 minutes, so. I actually did my hair for the thing tonight and everything. Anyway, I love you guys. Have a peaceful Sunday and beginning to your week, and I will see you tomorrow. I love you. Bye.